Hi, good morning. Welcome to my Wednesday devotional. Happy 4th of July week, I guess, since we're after 4th of July. I hope you guys had a great, happy, and healthy and safe holiday. I know it's a little wild around here in the DC metro area right now. Hopefully, we got wildfire smoke from Canada still coming down, and hopefully that won't interfere with the fireworks. Yes, I'm pre-recording this because you just never know. And I hope to get back outside, back to the track. The problem is because, like I just said, the smoke out there. We're on really very unhealthy air quality. I'm sure you've seen that in the news. So hopefully soon. They say it might not be till September. So we just need to pray for rain for around here so the air clears up so I can get back out. So for now we'll just be in the studio, like I said, I normally I like to do the studio during the colder months and then get outside for the warmer months, but so far that hasn't worked out real well. So please pray for us around here. But anyway, enough about me. I hope you guys are doing well. All right, let's get on with Esther. We've got some new changes here. Now we're still in Esther chapter 2, verses 21 through 22, but we're starting to make the turn here a little bit, because actually, even though this is primarily about Esther, Mordecai comes into play a lot. There's kind of a parallel story going, how the two of them, how they work together to to get things rolling and protecting the king. So, all right, let me just go ahead and read it real fast and then we'll teach it. All right, Esther chapter 2, verses 21 and 22. One day, as Mordecai was on duty at the king's gate, two of the king's eunuchs, Bigthana and Teresh, who were guards at the door of the king's private quarters, became angry at King Xerxes and plotted to assassinate him. Verse 22. But Mordecai heard about the plot and gave the information to Queen Esther. She then told the king about it and gave Mordecai credit for the report. All right, so first of all, what's the first thing? What do we know? Verse 21. So he was on duty and he happened to overhear something. Now, right here, let's just stop right here. He could have handled this a couple of different ways, right? He could have just heard it and just ignored it, because maybe back in the locker room or wherever, place they kind of hang out at the end of the day, they could have, these big Thana, so like big toe, big Thana, I don't know, it sounds like a strange name, sounds intimidating, right? Big Thana and Teresh, sounds like they're two guys, they could have been bullying Mordecai for all we know. Mordecai could have been afraid of them, but what does Mordecai do? He protects the king at all costs and takes that chance. And I hate to say it, but I don't like to use this word, but like tattletale. But I mean, yeah, I kind of tattled on Big Thana and Teresh, but at the same time, what's the mission? Protect the king, right? So Mordecai. Mordecai was right. Obviously, Big Thana and Teresh were gonna, do something wrong here. Mordecai, he was straight down the line. He was playing it by the book, and he overheard something, and he was on duty, and that's probably was his job. So, Mordecai did the right thing. I just kind of playing devil's advocate for a minute here and saying, gee, I wonder what Big Thana and Teresh are thinking. They're probably really ticked, and they're probably going to do some kind of vengeance, right, on Mordecai, because that's what Satan does, right? Satan's minions, they tend to take vengeance, so there's some risk there. So that's kind of hanging in the background, right? Okay, so verse 22. Mordecai heard about the plot, right, as we know, and instead of just ignoring it or, confronting Big Thana and Teresh, which would have been obviously kind of foolish because they sound like they're probably bullies or something, that would have been foolish. So, yeah, his only two options that Mordecai had was to just hear it and ignore it and play it safe, or give the information to Queen Esther, right, his niece that he adopted, and have her tell the king so that the king could, hopefully take care of it. Okay, and so there's two parts here. So Mordecai is protecting the king at all costs, and also what is Queen Esther doing? Well, she told the king about it. Now she could have done the same thing. She could have heard the information from Mordecai. She could have just went, yeah, I don't want to bother the king right now. He's a busy guy. He's got, over 120 provinces and a lot of land, a lot of people. He's busy partying, and I just don't know if I should risk it going to talk to him. I don't. Maybe he's the kind of king that doesn't want to hear from me, or there could have been all kinds of scenarios. But somehow, and they don't get into the details, but she told the king about it, because later on we're going to see in the next couple chapters, the biggest thing she has to really go see the king about is to save the Jews. So I know it's revealing the plot here, but this is just like a mini thing. So maybe this was like the door opener, so she could go talk to a king that would make her feel secure enough, like, oh, maybe he wants to know information, because there's kinds that don't, kinds that do. So luckily she told the king about it and gave Mordecai the credit for the report. So see, she could have been bad, and she could have taken all the credit, right, and said, oh, blah, blah. But she didn't. She was very honest, very obedient, and loyal. She's loyal to both Mordecai and the king, really, because she's protecting the king, but she's also still loyal to Mordecai. She's loyal to both of them, actually. So, wow. Okay. That's a lot of information, right? We're starting to make the turn, okay, where things get interesting. Like I said at the very beginning of the study, men and women can enjoy this story of Queen Esther, because it's not entirely about Esther. It's also about Mordecai. So these are fascinating things to think about, and we can all think about this in our everyday life. Do I tell my boss about, something that might happen to him or her? Do I take that chance? Could those two eunuchs, could they be bullying me in the locker room or whatever? Because I'm sure it sounds like they were all coworkers. That coworker peer pressure, that's really strong, in a lot of workplace settings, so it makes it difficult, for Mordecai or anyone in the position of where they're working directly for the king. They have to be extremely loyal, and they also probably have to stay away from their coworkers. That's probably the best way to do it. That way, they're free and clear to be very loyal to the king, and that would be wise of Mordecai to keep, not Mordecai, the king to keep Mordecai close to him. You want your best people close and very loyal and in good fellowship. I've heard of some people and some celebrities I read about or something like that have a bad reputation. That I'm thinking it's one particular female. She's a boss, CEO or whatever, of a very prominent magazine right now, and she has a very bad reputation because all of her minions, her assistants, they're trying to be loyal and do the right thing, but she treats them horribly. Of course, this is all, the speculation and all that kind of thing. I don't know, but so that's the speculation. Whether it's true or not, we don't know, but there's been a lot of reports about that, so, but on the other hand, when I was watching some type of documentary or whatever on this particular female, she said, oh, you're nothing without your team, and my team means everything. And that's true. So why do they feel disenfranchised? I don't know. So as we go on with the story of the king, and does he pull in Mordecai? Because Mordecai is very loyal and wants to help and, put himself at risk. And you'll see, this gets more interesting. Like I said, it's Mordecai and Esther and their parallel stories, and they get really interesting, those moral debates. Do you tell the king that something bad is about to happen? Are you a tattle, or is it justified? I don't know. These are things we have to weigh every single day in our workplaces. So See, it applies to everybody. All right, we're getting long. So thanks very much for watching. I really hope to see you next week. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.